So this is the Millionaire Mindset. This Millionaire Mindset this week is about your thoughts. Thoughts are things, and thoughts are things that either will create disaster, create success. If you don't know how to control your thoughts, then you can have a life that is well below the vision that God's given you. If you understand how to control your thoughts, then you can have the life that's truly well beyond anything that most people that you know can imagine. And so, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you during Millionaire Mindset, just some ways that I've had to learn to control my thoughts. And what I also want to share, but first, the way I want to start is I'm going to start by sharing some research that I did. And this is the research. The research that I did was on the number of thoughts that the average human being has. So you may like I knew this, but I had to research it myself. I had some idea. I knew it was a lot of thoughts every day. Well, did you know, like, how many thoughts, if you're here listening now? In fact, I don't know why my my monitor's off. So if I think about the number of thoughts, put in the comments, how many thoughts do you think? I'm going to ask you, how many thoughts do you think the average human being has on a daily basis? Put it in. In fact, I can't. Let me see if I can get my while you're doing that. All right, so I can see chat. I can see. All right, great. All right, I'm going to be able to see any chats, I think, inside of YouTube. So, well, here it is. I'm going to tell you. You think it's 1,000? You think it's 500 thoughts a day? You think it's 1,000? You think it's 1,500? How about 2,000? If anybody believes it's 2,000 thoughts a day. If anybody believes it's 3,000, let me see. Put it in the chat. Come on. Just play this game with me just for a moment. All right. 2,000 thoughts, 3,000, 4,000 thoughts, 5,000. How about 6,000? On average, 6,000. Well, I'm just going to tell you, on average, the average human being has anywhere between 6,000 and 6,500 thoughts per day. Let me read this. It says the average person has approximately 6,000 to 6,500 thoughts per day. This estimate is based on a study conducted by researchers at Queen's University in Canada, where they developed a new method called the thought worm. The thought worm to identify when one thought ends and another begins while participants were awake. Now, that's not even talking about when you're asleep, right? So it says it's important to note that this figure can vary widely among individuals depending on factors like activity levels, personal circumstances, and mental health status. Now, why am I talking about thoughts? Well, because thoughts are things. And I think about how, like, for me, one of the things I was just talking with my wife earlier, and this is Millionaire Mindset, and um and when I think about like how, like, the success that I was able to have and the people that who I'm around, who like have been very, very successful in their particular space. And when I say space, I'm talking about their business space. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about success. Because obviously we know, for me, I don't just judge success based on how much money you make. However, that is also one of the things on the scorecard. Like, that to me, if you're in business. If you're not in business, then I'm not judging it that way. Like, we're in business to serve people, and if you're serving people, then one of the ways you see how well you're serving is how much money you're making, right? And so I know people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know people a year. I know people that are making $100,000 a month. I know people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. I know people that are making millions of dollars a year. I know people that make millions of dollars a month. I know people that make millions of dollars a day, right? And when I say I know them, like I know them, we hang out, we fly around on jets and hang out on yachts. Like I know these people, right? We do that. So, but one thing that I found in common, like when I think about me and how we went from in the Airbnb space, um, and I went from zero to my first $1 million year in the first 18 to 20 months or so when we got to that space. Hey Alice, God bless you. Um, um, when what I think about was like the hardest part, once I got the like once I understood like what it took to get there, the hardest part for me, like one of the biggest pieces was mindset. And when I say that, like literally, I I mean like mindset was so so important. Let me tell you why. Because remember, I just gave you the statistics on that study. The study said 6,000 to 6,500 thoughts per day. Now, I'm a pretty optimistic person, right? I'm a pretty positive person, and I'm a pretty I don't know if I'd say goal oriented. Like you could say goal. I don't know if you could say goal oriented, but like I'm competitive, and and I but I don't it's not, I don't I'm not competing. Like I don't When I say competitive, it's not about being competitive against other people. Like for me, who like the person that I feel like I'm trying to beat every day is just me. Right? I more so compete against myself. It's just like kind of when you're playing golf, right? When you're playing golf, if you're playing golf, like a good golfer, their thing is they're not really looking to beat everybody else. They're just trying to beat, their own self, right? That's it. They just want to get better every day. Be better than we were yesterday. And then but one of the scorecards when I was getting there was when we got there, like my scorecard was how like when can I get to that point where I'm making $100,000 a month in this space? And in order to do that, it took a lot of disciplines, right? It took discipline as it related to learning first what it took in with Airbnb, right? And how to do that and how to reach people and how to serve people and how to help people do it themselves. And let me tell you, like the first with the Airbnb piece, that wasn't so complex. That wasn't so difficult for me because I like real estate. I was already in real estate for what roughly around 27, 26 years or so prior to me getting into the Airbnb space. And I had a lot of success with real estate. But I also, I had some, some downs as well. Like when the market crashed back in 2020, 2009, right? 2008, 9, 7, 8, 9. Like when the market crashed, like a lot of people lost a lot of money. I was one of them. I lost nearly $1 million. And so, but I had like, but that was like one little blip in the whole scheme of things. I had made so much more than that over time. Right. But but real estate was something I knew pretty much like the back of my hand I could do in my sleep. So Airbnb, when it came to that, it was just a matter of understanding that it was a different space and it just needed to be done somewhat differently. I just needed to, you know, understand what Airbnb was and how it worked. Right. So we did that. And then literally within the first, maybe 3 to 6 months, we grew our portfolio, myself and my daughter Taina. We grew the portfolio up to, I think it was 21 listings, with no one helping us, no experience, no background. And then I put the brakes on and so that we can automate it. Right. So, so with that, like that wasn't a challenge mentally. But then I had a lot of people starting to ask me to help them. And, the coaching space was something that I was like, man, I really want to do this because like I really want to be able to travel all over the world. Like my wife, one of her things what she wanted to do is go to Spain and just live there for a year. And I had the conversation, you want to go to Spain, live for a year for real? Like, okay, let's plan it. Like a year from now, we'll do that. And that was the plan. And then 6 months later, COVID hit. But the plan was, okay, well, like the coaching space would be a great space where I could help people. And it doesn't matter where I'm at in the world, that I could do that. And I know that, out of the 3.2 billion people in the world, that I can, that I could help, a small fraction of those people and still do very, 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 very well. Right? I'm not trying to help everyone, neither do I want to. And everybody doesn't want me to either. But there are some people who really desire the same things that I do. Like when it comes to family, when it comes to legacy, when it comes building legacy with our kids and our grandkids, when it comes to breaking generational cycles, building generational wealth, like those kinds of things, being a blessing to our church and our community, using our gifts, our talents, our passions that God's given us, are giving our kids, and really nurturing and growing those things in a way to really make our mark on the world and on society the way it's called to. Like that's like the core reasons of why many of the people that I work with me, because those are their values and those are my values. And so I choose them inside of my program to help them so that they could use a vehicle that I've used to be able to get that financial independence, and then with the financial independence and the finances, be able to take what they really are passionate about to the next level. And it might be Airbnb. You could take that to the next level, right? You got making now, just instead of making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, you can make $1 million a year with Airbnb. Now, all right. But when I got into the coaching space was brand new to me from a formal perspective. I've helped a lot of people, but like I would, you see a bunch of these guys on the internet, and these guys, young guys, old guys, people talk about like I came up I see all these guys making millions and millions of dollars from courses and things, and I'm like, how do you do that? Right. So finally I ordered, I got in the program, and um and I learned from a guy called Sam Ovens from New Zealand. And Sam was, at the time when I joined his program back in the day, was I think Sam was what, 33 or something, 34, 35. And Sam had already, he was making about $50 million a year with Airbnb. I mean, not with Airbnb, in the coaching space with consulting.com. And I was like, man, and smart guy. And so like once I joined the program, like within literally, like I joined his lowest level program, and literally within the first 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I got some results. And I was like, okay, um, I don't need to wait to get to the next level. Like I just wanted to see if I could get some results. I want next level right now, because I'm not new in the business field. I'm just new to coaching, and I'm not trying to get the basics. Like I want advanced. Now, when I got into advanced, it's a whole nother level, like doing ads and learning that piece, learning how to do sales and how to help people get results, and how to create platforms so that you don't, like, the time that you're spending, you're able to leverage your time so that you can help many people, whether you have 10 people in your program or 100 people in your program. It's not going to really require any more work, right? And so you just have to do that properly. So I learned it, and I literally had to stop doing everything because I was so committed. So with my real estate, I told all my people, like, that was on my team in the real estate game, because I had, still multiple units of traditional real estate. I told them, I can't talk to you anymore. Like for a whole year, like I could talk to you, but just via text or or on Zoom, but you can't, like, I'm not gonna have lunch, dinner. I'm not calling, don't call me on the phone. If we can't do this stuff like that while I'm here in town, then we won't be able to do it when I go to Spain. Right. So that was the plan. But it was also so that I could really just get focused. And during that time, though, it was something serious. Like, I literally, like, first I had to learn how to do Facebook ads myself. I never, like, I'd done a Facebook ad, but the way it was being taught was like, we're not running just one ad. We'd be running like 30, 40, 50 ads at a time. And so we had software, like he introduced me to different software that allowed me to kind of scale my ads pretty quickly, introduced me some methods and some strategies. And like, it was like I trusted him, but and it was working for a lot of people, but like, I still had to implement, right? And it was my money on the line. And so he said, when you first get started, you need to budget roughly about $1,500 to $3,000 for your ads. And it doesn't mean you're gonna make money. You could lose it, but you got to be okay losing it just in case, because all ads aren't gonna necessarily work. So he showed you how to do some ads, and this was all via modules. This isn't like me having one-on-ones and things. This is via modules, the same way he taught thousands and thousands of people. So I did it. I ran the ads, and the ads, if I could recall, when I first ran the first ads back in what is this, 2023, back in 2000, I think it was 19, I believe it was, when I ran my first ads. um um I don't know if I broke even. Like, I think I made, like, and the ads really, they weren't to sell anything. They were just to get people, to show people that you do what you do, so that if they were interested in learning more, they would jump on a call with you. And then at that point, you could talk to them about the program. If they were interested, you get them enrolled in your program. Right. And at that time, I think my starter program that I started off with back then was like 1,500. And he was like, nah, you shouldn't, you should be way more than that. But I was scared, like way more than that. Like, who's gonna want to pay me way more than that to do this? I was scared, like, because I'd never known anyone to do that. Right. But I paid a lot more for his program. So in any case, I said, well, is it all right if I just start at this level? He says, yeah, but like, you could start at that level, but like, you need to know your program should be more, because it is definitely worth a lot more. It's just your level of confidence that is keeping your numbers down. So mindset, think about that. We're Why am I telling you all this? Because we're talking about mindset. So one of the things in that space, I had all these thoughts going through my head about why it can and can't work. And it was just a reality that I created for myself. Today, like, I have people that pay today 50,000, 100,000, $200,000 for my programs. 25, like, in my mindset right now is, I would, like, it's even like, for me to do anything for $1,500, like, I won't even wake up in the morning for $1,500. Am I too good? No, I'm not too good. It's not, it has nothing to do with that. I just know the value of what we're doing, and the number of people that we've helped, and the kind of money that people make, and the lives that we're changing is, well, way worth way more than that. Plus the time that I'm taking away to help people, the time that I'm taking away from my family, and I don't need the money, is that time is so much more valuable than 1,500 bucks too. So if I'm going to do that, it's got to be about changing lives. And if it's about changing lives, then it's worth it, right? It's worth doing, but it's also got to make me smile too, right? So, and that, and that goes all the way back to, back when I used to just help family back in the day. when I bought my first piece of property, I used to say, like, everybody come and, this, we got properties. I'm the oldest grandchild, the oldest child. Like, I did this so I could help people, and I'll teach you how to do it and stuff. But then, you got family that just came out of the works at times, and it was okay. Like, my wife was the same way. She's the oldest child, oldest grandchild, same thing. Come on, right? But then, like, literally, we had people staying with us for probably the first 15 years of our lives together. Cousins, uncles, brothers, aunts, nephews, nieces, like all of that. No complaints. That's what it was for. But my perspective was, if y'all coming and y'all ain't coming with the right mindset, and you're going to destroy what we have to help other people, other members, then you got to go. So it's the same perspective, right? It's the same perspective. If you're coming and you're here to help others, then you can stay. But if you're here to just steal time and not add any value, and this is just about a side hustle, like, I can't help you. If this is about more than just you, let's do it. You got my time. So, but mindset. So from a mindset perspective, like, I was feeding myself all these scenarios. How about most people? Think about what most people do. How many thoughts do you have every day? Right? Have you considered like something where you have value, you can help people, but then in your mind you're thinking to yourself, why would somebody want to pay me for that? Right? Um, you know, well, I'll just get into some other stories later. So mindset. Now, just going a little further though, like, the hardest part when I was going through it, like, there were literally times when I was on my knees praying and crying. Like, literally, I'm not joking. Like, I was on my knees praying and crying as I was going through this journey. Right? The ads, eventually I started breaking even on the ads. I got to a point where I was spending over $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month on ads. Like, I had spent 1 year, I spent $500,000 on ads. The next year I spent $500,000 on ads between Google, and then we moved over to YouTube and we're doing both. So, and in this year, if I spent $10,000 on ads, that's probably a lot. Like, I don't really run ads anymore. I haven't run an ad in quite a while. Right? We're doing things more organically, but it's not because ads don't work. It's just because we have organic strategy. So that's a whole different conversation. But, like, from a mindset perspective, the reason why I was on my face just crying at times is because I couldn't, like, I was spending hours upon hours every day from like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting here at the computer. And then literally like 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, I'm done. I'm meeting with people from all over the world, hour after hour. Some people showing up, a lot of people not showing up. But every day I get up and I get back at it. And I wasn't crying because anything was failing. Like, I wasn't crying because I was afraid of something. I was crying because I couldn't understand. Like, I felt like I was doing everything and it just wasn't working. Well, it was working, right? My brother Myron, he says all work works. He says it's either working on you or working for you. But all work works. And if you do the work, if it ain't working for you, it's because it's actually working on you. And if it's been working on you and you still can't get it to work for you, is because you are resisting the work that is doing on you to some degree. And when you stop resisting the work that is doing on you, then you'll be able to it'll help you become the person that you need to be so that it can work for you. Right. And so I don't know, like, I didn't know that then, but I know like it was working. It was developing me. I was becoming a lot more sensitive to how to help people. I was becoming a lot more mature in that arena and understanding everything. So it was working on me to prepare me for that time when I had reached that 100,000, 150,000, $200,000 month, right? And consistently. But I didn't know how soon that was going to be. I thought maybe it was going to be next month or the next month or the next month. I just thought it was going to just blow up like that because I saw all these other guys doing it. But God had a different plan for me. Now, from a mindset perspective, I got all these things going through my mind. Imagine, like the average person, what if you're not like an optimistic person? And as I said, I'm a very optimistic person, and I'm a very confident person. But I could tell you, like the way I think about it today, the work that I have to do and that I had to do then, even today, like the work that I have to do to keep my thoughts always focused on who I know God says I am and what is real and what's being made up, what's trying to take me off course. Like I'm telling you, it's like a full-time job. And I'm not like, you might think I'm like sensationalizing it, but I'm not. In fact, like I'm gonna show you this. This is something that I've been using for the last probably 4 years, 4.5 years or so. These are my earphones, but they're not just earphones. They're earphones that I use at night when I'm sleeping. They're special earphones for sleeping at night. These are really, really soft. They fit in your ear, and I'm a side sleeper. So when you sleep on your side like that, like you can't feel it. And so I sleep with these in my ear, right? And they're attached to my phone. And what I do with these at night is while I'm sleeping, there's something that I'm listening to. It might be some of my when I say daily, my affirmations, my declarations, it might be a book, but in most cases, probably out of 7 nights out of the week, at least 5 of those nights, I'm sleeping with something in my ear. Why? Because I'm keeping my subconscious always fed with positive things that just keep it real. Like who said it? Miko Yuri, he said, "Thank you for keeping the process real." Like this is real. Like I'm not just telling, like this is real. Things that keep it real. Now, when you say keep it real, what is real? Well, real is whatever you want it to be. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you are correct. Well, what do I want? I want to think I can. I want to know I can. The Bible tells me that I can. It tells me that's what I was designed to do. But even though and oh, by the way, there were many other people before you that had situations when they grew up that were much better than yours. There were people that came before you that had situations coming up that were much worse than yours. There were people before you and are all around you today that have accomplished exactly what you want to accomplish, and others that have accomplished 10 times more than what you have vision to accomplish. And the only difference, like what's the difference between you and them? You want to know the answer? Go find out. Go find out what the difference is between you and them. Well, in my Audible collection, like in my Audible, How many books do I have in Audible? In my Audible, I got, if y'all don't know what Audible is, it's where you can pretty much get any book, and their book is where someone is actually narrating the book. It might be the original the actual person, or it might be someone that they've hired that narrates the book for you. And in my Audible collection, my library has 191 books in it. Right? I'm buying books. I buy books probably like back in the day, I didn't buy that many. I just had a few. Like there was one book I listened to, only one book for the first, until I hit my first $100,000 month. It was only one book. One of the name of the book. The name of the book was, all my students know, it was The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And I listened to that book, and I had that in my thing in my ears every night for the first 2 years straight. Other than my Bible, that's the only book I read. And because he said, like, this is all you have to do. Like, you don't need any more books. Like, I listened to it, was like, that's kind of strange. It sounds like it was challenging me personally. It challenged me emotionally. It challenged me spiritually. It challenged me business. Like, it challenged me. And but I just continued to listen to it. And literally, I've listened to that book hundreds of times. I make sure in my academy, like that's the basic book. Like my inner circle members, they got a book list that's like 26 books long. But my basic academy, they got a book. They got a list that's only I think it's 3 or 5 lists. That's the first one on that list. The first one they get. I tell them to listen to it. Right? I've listened to it hundreds of times. All my kids have listened to it multiple times. My wife's listened to it. But how do I understand what they did and what they did differently than what I'm doing? And as I started researching, I research. You listen, you read. You don't just read and watch what's on the news. You read and you get deep into these person's psyche, these people's psyche. And then what starts to happen is you start seeing that there's some things that are very common amongst all of them. Some of it's work ethic. Some of it is how they've function under pressure. Some of it is how they deal with people. Some of it is how they how they eat, how they sleep. Like some of it is, but a big part of it was mindset. Like all of that is mindset. And so what I realized was that's the only, like, I got to see how many of these people grew up with worse circumstances than I did, but yet accomplished something that was far greater than than I've accomplished. What was the difference? Wasn't that they were 1,000 times smarter than me. I just knew that they followed certain disciplines across the board. And if I really wanted to be able to accomplish something extraordinary, then why don't I just model what the most successful people in the world do? Right? And so, but a big part of it was mindset, like how they thought, how they saw themselves, how they handled things under pressure. And so when I looked at the success, like the reason why I didn't, when I was on my face crying, I didn't just give up, is because I at least knew that when I look back, I was still having little bits of success that was helping me to understand that this was working. I didn't know if it was just me just needing to have more patience, or just if I was just missing something, or but I just knew I couldn't quit. Like that was the thing. Like most people in situations like that would just quit. How many of you comment if you can? Like, I love, I, I hate the fact that I'm just talking. Like, this is cool. Like, I love to just talk to you guys because I'm keeping it real. But comment, because if you comment, then I can at least know that you're with me, right? Now, so and I love that. Like, I'll get a chance to interact a little bit, but because I see your comments. Now, most people will just quit. And because I I made it my point, because I wasn't necessarily around a bunch of people that had the level of success like I was, but we were in like a group. There was another level that was a mastermind that you had to be making $100,000 a month to get in that group, and everybody in that group were millionaires. So that was my desire to get there, because now, like, the things that I'm trying to figure out, I wouldn't have to figure out, because I'll see what everybody's doing. And it took me, as I said, about 18, 20 months to get there. Now, you might think, like, that's not a long time. And you're right, it isn't a long time. And you're wrong, it is a long time. It depends on what perspective you're coming from. If you think that it should take you years and years to go from zero to making $1 million a year, then, and it only took 2 years, then you're right. But if you think that it should only take you 6 months to go from zero to $1 million a year, then, and it took you 20 months, then that took you a long time. So either perspective, you're not wrong. But for me, like, I just knew, I believed I could have gotten there a lot faster. Did I have any regrets when we finally got there? Of course not. I had no regrets. I celebrated, called everybody up on the phone, my whole family, told them what had happened, and they're like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean we made $100,000 a month? Who's we? Like, we don't work with you, Dad. What are you talking about?" Because at that time I was just figuring it out, right? So then I explained, and anybody that, like, if you are like, if your desire is for breaking generational cycles and building generational wealth, like, the way you do that is ain't going to be, if you're trying to help your kids, I'm gonna give you a little bit of secret. If you're trying to help other family members, I'm gonna give you a little secret. Don't go running your mouth telling everybody what they should be doing, what you're doing, and all this stuff, and they need to follow you. You don't be doing that. Just go and do it. Just go do it. And then once you do it, then share with them what you did. And not brag, just share, celebrate with them some of the milestones. And when they see that, now they're gonna be like, "What? Wait, what are you talking about? What'd you do?" And now they want to hear. Now you can tell them because they're asking, right? And now you're not preaching. That's how I did it with my kids. They're all financially independent today, right? I did the same thing, and many of my students do the same thing. I tell them when they come in, they get enrolled, they go, like, "I want my kids to be doing this. I want my sister, my niece, or my mom." And I say, "Don't say anything. Just get the result. Just trust me, get the result." And everybody that's done that, next thing they know, their kids, their family is now doing the same thing and getting great results. So that was something that's a tip. Like, that's a tip for you. That's a pro tip. Take it, put it in your back pocket. Now, mindset. So from a mindset perspective, you have to really, really, really be very intentional about the thoughts that are going through your mind every day, all day, when you're sleeping and when you're awake. When you're awake, you have 6,000 to 6,500 thoughts going through your head. And it says most thoughts are negative. So imagine this. Imagine if you had, let's just say, half of those thoughts were negative. So imagine if you had 3,000 people in front of you all day long saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you're going to fail, this does not work, you're going to crash and burn, you're going to have to file bankruptcy, you're not going to be able to pay your mortgage or your rent or your car payment or take care of your family. Imagine if you had 3,000 people all day long, like, All day, every day, you had to cross a line of 3,000 people all day long saying stuff like that to you. You're too short. You're too tall. You're too black. You're too white. You're too skinny. You're too fat. You're too ugly. Too handsome. Any of that stuff. Like your teeth are crooked. You this and that. Your teeth ain't white. Like you can't do it. You're charging. Why would somebody want to pay you this? You don't even know what you're talking about. Like all this stuff. You ain't perfect. You ain't a Christian. You just thinking about money. You just like all of this stuff. Imagine if you had 3,000 people every day that said something negative to you. And oh, wait, not just 3,000 people, 3,000 people that you cared about. Why did I say that? I say that because they're your thoughts. It's you. You're the one giving yourself 3,000 negative thoughts. Who do you care about more than you? Right? So you have to be very intentional. Most people, the average person has 6,000 to 6,500 thoughts a day, and most of them are negative. And if you're not intentional about recognizing what those thoughts are, then when they come and they're telling you can't, and this ain't gonna work, and who is this person that's gonna help you, and he's just a scam, and this is that, like when I spent my first $6,000 on a course, like I hadn't known anybody that ever spent $6,000 on a course, especially a course with somebody from a whole different country. He didn't look like me. He was I mean, I could say this because, ain't no big deal. It ain't like I'm racist. Like some white dude from New Zealand trying to tell me that he want my $6,000 to help me. I'm like, and I don't know. And then most of the people that he was helping, none of them look like me either. And I'm gonna give this guy $6,000. What are you, stupid? Are you dumb? Like don't tell nobody if you do this. If you do this, that ain't cool. Do you know? Within 18 months or so after just following, I was now making over $100,000 a month because I didn't listen to that. And then you know what else? Know what I paid him next? $50,000 a year, 36, I think, the first time, 36,000. Oh, and that's light, by the way. I've paid now, like when I find great coaches, I paid hundreds of thousands of dollars just to learn. Just to learn. And ain't nothing guaranteed other than the fact that they're just going to teach me what they know. You ain't guaranteed to get success, but what you are guaranteed, if you implement and you do it long enough, you will. You're going to get great success. How committed are you? That's the key. How committed are you? And that's where most people get messed up because they don't really believe in themselves because they got 3,000 negative comments coming and they don't even recognize the negative comments are there. Now today, by the grace of God, because I've made those kinds of investments, those investments have paid for themselves tenfold. Now, like we've had months where we've done 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. We almost hit $1 million one month. Why? Because I was willing to invest and I believed in me. It wasn't believing in the person. I just knew that they could do it. They've helped other people, and I see that they are doing it for themselves. I just need to know what they're doing and then understand how to apply it to the thing that I'm doing and making sure that it don't go against this. Now, when I say that, what do I mean? So, like, I know that everything that I do, the Lord is gotta be the center of it all. He has to be. I learned my coaching from the beginning from Sam Ovens. I don't believe Sam is a believer, but I know one thing when it comes to business, like the core values that he had made sense. Not only did he know how to make money, like a lot of money, and he was smart about how he did it, but the core principle was you got to make sure you're helping people. Like you can't just have a great course that or have the ability to make a lot of sales and you can't help people. That won't last. You got to help people. Okay. Like you may not be a Christian, but if you feel that way and you're teaching me that, then that's the attitude that you must have about me because I'm one of those people that you're helping. Okay, I can roll with you. Now, when it comes to talking about marriage and some other things and some other values, like Sam was married, he's married, just had a baby a couple years ago, 30 something years old. I am not going to Sam though for marriage advice. Why? Like we talked about marriage, we talked about a lot of different things. But like I'll take someone's perspective, but first of all, I've been like I got twice as much experience when it comes to marriage than he does because my wife and I we've been together 38 years. But regardless, it's like this has got to be the foundation of all of that for me. And if you don't have this foundation, I can't take no advice. Not when it comes to something like that. But when it comes to business, same thing. Like this is the center as well. This is the center of it as well. But that's a core principle. Are you helping people? Are you doing right by people? If you're doing right by people, then all right, I can roll with you. Right? I might do it a little bit different, but I can roll. Right? So that like is a core principle. So so although he wasn't a Christian, I don't believe he was. And he coached me for 3-4 years even though he wasn't a I don't he wasn't a Christian. he like there was something he had that he had to offer that I could use that God allowed me to have so that the Lord could use me in that space. Does that make sense? So that's but that's one of the things. Like if you're learning from someone and their values are way off, like their values are way off, but that yet they may be a really because I bought stuff from people and I literally was like I didn't ask for my money back. Like I spent a lot of money and I didn't ask for my money back, but I was like, that was my decision. What he says he's doing, he could do. He could do. Like he's got a lot of, he's having a lot of success. But you know what? That's I just can't rock like that. And you know what? No big deal. Like I'm not judging him. He's doing his thing. So we still remain friends. I keep it moving and let him do his thing. Right? Because there are going to be people that don't agree with me. And one of the things I've learned is that the way you treat other people, those are the same types of people that you're going that you're going to draw toward you as well. So if you're out there, you know, judging people, and I mean, we're supposed to have discernment, saying all kinds of nasty things around people about people just because you don't agree with them. Stop, there's some things I'm not going to say because, there's some people out there that I know, right? I, there's like, but that was the thing though, from a mindset perspective, like that we have all these negative thoughts and I could have stopped at any point and I didn't. But then those who showed me when I paid, they showed me. And then if I saw, like, as I saw the progress that the things work, I know they work. I know it's just a scientific thing. The scientific is, if I just model the mindset, if I model the principles, and if I model like what they're doing, I'm gonna get the same result. I just gotta, I just gotta be willing to hang in there long enough. That's it. So thoughts are things, and it's one of the biggest things when it comes to mindset. I mean, when it comes to um, getting to anywhere you're looking to get to, when it in business, right, and in life in general. Um, so so I wanted to share that. Anyone got any questions about that? There's a couple other things, like I just if you do, again, put in the comments. But I mean, I was just talking to my wife again this morning, and I was just saying, man, like as I was doing this research, I was like, man, like is intentional as I am about my mindset, the fact that I still got things coming at me sometimes, it just makes me wonder, like, what about most other people? Like, I just it, like I it just blow it like the difference is most other people don't even realize it. Cause I'm very intentional now about that. Like, I read a lot of mindset stuff. And one of the things that, a lot of these high level mindset books teach you is about, and not only books on mindset, but books on people who were very, very successful throughout history. The word of God tells us as well, right? It says guard your heart, for it is a wellspring of life, right? When it talks about the full armor, putting on the full armor of God, with the belt of truth around your waist, your feet fitted in readiness, which is the gospel of peace, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith to extinguish the enemy's flaming arrows, the helmet of salvation. So the enemy's flaming arrows, think about that. They're coming at you. This stuff's coming at you. And a lot of stuff that's coming at you, a lot of things are just thoughts. Same way he got Eve. It's just a thought, a suggestion. Did God really say? Did God really say you can't do this? Oh, do you know why he said this? Because he don't want you to be like him. Like, those are thoughts. That's how the enemy gets us. And if we're not very intentional about understanding the thoughts, he says the helmet of salvation, protecting this dome piece. And what? The sword of the spirit, which is the word of God. Like, that's the full armor. He says, put that stuff on every day. Not just one thing, all of it. So so, so like, being very intentional. And but most people just walk around through life not even knowing that they got all this negative stuff going on in their brain, in their subconscious. And then we wonder why. Like, I got into this little debate with my wife today, and we were just dropping my aunt off at the airport, and my aunt made a comment on Facebook, and it said, she showed, how people show their destinations and things, and she said this thing, she showed, and she said, like, we had a great time with her. She was here for a week. She came in just before New Year's, hung out, like, we did something every day. But she did this thing on Facebook, and it said, just had a wonderful vacation, headed back home. And I said to my wife, I hate that word. She said, what word? I said, vacation. She said, why do you hate that word? I said, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to get into this debate with her because it's going to turn into something different. I said, and then I said, no, I don't hate that word. And she said, no, why do you hate that word? I want to know why. Because she said, why, you don't like to go on vacation? I said, no, I don't hate the word. She says, no, tell me why. You don't like to go on vacations? I said, no, I don't like to go on vacations. It's like vacation to me means I gotta, like, I'm on vacation every day. If everybody, if that's a definition of vacation, going away and or doing something that you really enjoy, like I'm on vacation every day. And oh, by the way, most people, when they talk about vacation, I know way back when I was in corporate America, if I was going on vacation, that meant it was something I had to plan for, I had to either save up for, and then I had to ask somebody if I could go. And then when you're done, now you get back to a life that you're not really that excited about. And then you're working so that you can go on the next vacation. Like, like when people come visit us here, they're like, man, like last year when I had some of my family come when we first came to Florida, they were like, this is like you're on vacation. I said, every day. My daughter said to me a month or so ago when I was talking to her and I was sitting out by the pool and we were just looking at some of the landscape by all the water and stuff. And I had her, she says, Dad, you know how much people pay just to go on vacation and stay in places like you live at, like we live in? That's why I hate the word. It's because to me, the word is a trap to me. The word is a trap. Like from a mindset perspective, why can't you design a life where every day is a vacation? But it ain't a vacation because I ain't had to ask nobody. Like if I want to go somewhere, if I want to do something, if I want to go to Spain for a year, if I want to go to Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, go visit my grandkids, go visit my cousins, my nieces, my nephew. Like if I want to do any of that stuff, if I want to go hang out on a yacht, if I want to go, like if I want to do any of that stuff, I don't have to ask anybody. And oh, by the way, guess what? The money don't stop flowing either. Why can't you design a life like that? Now, you can't just talk to people, everybody about stuff like that. Why? Because everybody don't get it. They think you crazy. Well, I guess by everybody's definition, I am crazy because what's crazy mean? Like you do stuff that most people don't do. Well, I guess I'm doing stuff that most people don't do. I guess I think ways that most people don't think. And that's why I'm able to do things that most people can't do. So millionaire mindset, that's it. Do y'all like the word vacation? and then so my wife's definition, she said, all right, well, my definition is where you go away, and when you go away, you can just let everything go and you don't have to think about anything. Like I could do that now. That's not a vacation. It's not a vacation. Like when we went on a cruise earlier in the year, was that a vacation? But like like the stuff that I think about every day, it's not stuff that I'm thinking about because I have to, not all the stuff. Some things I do. But it's stuff that I want to think about. I design the stuff uh, to be the kind of stuff that I love. That's why I get to hand select all my students, because I get to work with people that I really enjoy hanging out with. So you got the best of both worlds. You get to hang out with people that you really enjoy, smart people, driven people, people that love the Lord, people that are filled with vision, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, right? Where it's bigger than them. And oh, by the way, pay me to hang out with them so that I can help them get there as well using the resources that I have in the systems that God's given me wisdom to build that's helped me. Now I show them and they get to do the same thing. So I get to hang out with great people, fun people. I get to do great things, fun things, and um and and I get to look forward to I get to be a part of their success as I'm seeing them going through the same journey that I went through, but actually getting there faster as long as they follow the steps and don't give up. Like I get to be a part of that. I'm getting to see so many and be a part of so many stories where people's lives have changed. Is that vacation or not? To me, every day is a vacation. And guess what? I don't have to ask anybody to do it. I look forward to it. Every now and then, though, you know, nothing's perfect except for him. So, but that's it. So you could do the same thing. Seriously. Like if that's what your desire is for you and your family, you could do it. You just have to know it. You got to know it. I I am y'all might think I'm just saying this, it's cliche. You might just think I'm being, what do you call that? Like people act like they're being humble, but they're really not being humble. I'm gonna tell you, I am no better than y'all. I am no better. Like I don't have a degree. Most of y'all probably got degrees. You don't need one. I remember when I told my wife, because my wife like she gets on our case all the time. Like if I correct her, because she speaks two languages. Her first language is Spanish, but she speaks English as well, very very well. Like she's spoken English all her life, well most of her life, except for the first 2 or 3 years. But she's spoken English all her life. She's got her bachelor's degree, her master's of social work. She's a therapist. It's like she does all of that stuff. Like she's really, really smart. But every now and then she'll say something because she might be saying it thinking in Spanish and she's saying it in English and it comes out a way. And we have this thing where we like to mess with her sometimes. And she'll come back. She'll come back at us and she'll be like, look, I'm the only one. Like I'm the only one in this house with a master's degree. Like I don't y'all be trying to correct me. Right? All my kids, they got degrees, but she's the only one with master's. She says that, right? But it's so funny because I once told her and she's really like like she loves like the therapy stuff that she does. She's retired now, right? But not retired because they kicked her out, retired because I said, honey, can you just stop working, please? And just hang out with me and the grandkids and the kids. Can you do that? Like we don't need, like if you want to do it, it's up to you. But I would love for you to not do it anymore. Because you don't have to, right? Like that I've been saying that forever and then when we finally got to Florida, that was she was like cool because we started having grandkids and now she could spend. So but she's brilliant when it comes to that stuff, right? And she loves it. And I remember way back, it was probably 10 years ago or something. And before she had gotten her master's, she got her licenses and all that stuff. She was talking about starting some woman's home or something like that. And like she was talking to somebody and they were telling her, yeah, well, you're going to need your master's to do this and you're going to need your degree to get that. And I was like, you don't need all that stuff to do that. I said, you got all the talent in the world, not only the talent, but the passion, and everybody loves you that you work with. Just go do it. Do you know how mad she got at me? She was so mad. You know why? because she thought I was discouraging her from going to get her master's. And I like literally for years, she was mad at me about that. She thought I was trying to stop her. And I wasn't trying to stop her. I was just trying to deflect the belief that the only way she could do the thing that God gave her vision for is if she went and got some man's approval by way of some college degree. She was already the person. She didn't need the degree. She already had the talent, the skill, the passion. She didn't need the degree to do that thing. So she finally did go and get it. I didn't discourage her from going to get it, but I was just trying to tell her you don't need it if that's what you truly want to do. And this was even before I was in this space. So I just say that again, like most y'all are smarter than me when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like those people that are making billions of dollars, they are not a million times smarter than any of us. In the thing that they're doing, though, guess what? They're focused. They know their thing. They might be 1,000 times smarter than us in the thing that they do, but they ain't 1,000 times smarter than us in general. Guess what? The thing that God's giving you a gift for, you're 1,000 times smarter than someone else too, in many cases. You keep sharpening your axe, right? And then if you're 1,000 times smarter than some people, then help the people that you're smarter than that really want to do the thing. That's it. Everybody else that aren't, then they're gonna go do something else. That's okay. That's why 3 billion people in the world, you don't need to help them all. But there's more than enough out there that need your help. Go help them. But you can't come with this limited belief, these limited mindset things. Because if you ain't ready there, then you can't help nobody. You gotta help yourself first. Right? But don't think it's gotta be perfect. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be perfect. We all like you got to start somewhere. Like I'm the first guy. I am the first guy. All my students will tell you. Yeah, if any of y'all in there, y'all know, like you could say something, right? But all my students will tell you, my kids will tell you, when it comes to doing something, like if I got my mindset on it, I am not waiting until I'm anywhere close to perfect. Like I want to jump in now. As long as I know, like I ain't gonna get hurt, I ain't gonna hurt nobody. Let me jump in now, even if it's gonna be messy, because I want to get the messiness out of the way real fast. Because as messy as it is now, guess what? If I keep doing it, it's gonna be less messy, less messy, less messy, and then eventually I'm gonna be really good at it. That's it. Like that's it. That's the mindset you have to have. And if I'm following someone that's already really good at it and they're having great success, I know that that person, he might have his own, or she may have their own talents and special things, and I'm not trying to be them, but I'm going to model what they're doing, and then I'm going to make it my thing. And then guess what? I'm going to be really good my way doing their thing. But first, I'm going to do their thing as best as I can the way they do it so that I can have the success and then eventually gain that experience. So I tell you, don't wait till it gets perfect. It doesn't need to be anywhere close to being perfect. If you're modeling the right person, if you got the right mindset, and if you're truly determined, you got a big enough reason why, your why is big enough, then just get started. Do something. Like do it. God gave you the vision, just do it. So that's Millionaire Mindset. I just hope this was helpful. It was beneficial. If it was, then subscribe if you're watching this. If you're on and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And comment as well, because I love to read you guys' comments. I read them all the time, and I even comment. And then also you can share it as well. But if nothing else, now I'm going to stop my session. If there are any of my students that are here right now, then if you're one of the inner circle members or want to say, hey, Alice, God bless you. Happy New Year to you. I saw your comment in there. Good night. But any of my students that are in inner circle, you're able to jump in. I'm going to be on the private Zoom for the next half hour or so. If anyone's in there, if you're in there, great. Then we'll jump in and we'll get into some other advanced level stuff. But outside of that, Happy New Year. God bless you guys. Mindset. Remember, thoughts are things, and the life that you design, the life that you have is the life that you design. Whether you've done it actively or passively, you designed it. And if it doesn't look the way you want it to, then guess what? You got the power to fix it. You have the power to fix it. If you believe, then you have the power to fix it. And the fact that you got breath in your lungs and you're willing to, and you're waking up, then you got to just set your mind to the thing that God's given you vision for, and then pursue it, and just don't give up. Lord, like, be very intentional about the thoughts that are going through your head, making you think that you can't do something, or you should stop, or you should, like, don't give up. Be very intentional about understanding, these will help. Go get yourself some. You can get them right on Amazon. They call them sleeping headphones or earbuds or whatever, right? And this little white thing I have on it, it's an adapter that's, because they come like this, but this is for the iPhone. So now I just plug that in and it plugs into my iPhone, right? So that's a special adapter. You buy that separate. And I think these things are like, you get a package of 2 for like $20, something like that. And then this, you get a package of 2 for like $10. So they're not expensive, but I'm telling you, these things will pay for themselves 10,000 times over. And I ain't just joking. So keep feeding yourself the right stuff. Be around the right positive people that ain't just talking positive. Like, those are cool, but talking positive ain't doing nothing. Be around people that are there that are lifting you up, but also doing something too. Right? If you got a choice of being around people that are talking negative and doing something, and talking positive not doing something, be around the people that are talking positive. The people that are talking negative and doing something, just keep. You want to stay as far away from that negative stuff as possible. You got enough stuff going on in your own brain. You don't need to be around people that telling you can't do something. Right? So with that, 2024, if you do that, your 2024 will be so much different than 2023. Right. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to take you 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, or even like me, 18, 20 months to get there. It doesn't. You could do it faster if you are following the right person and you get your mind right. Right. So with that, God bless you. You got this. And I will see you on the next video.